Look at this, folks. Shauna Grandstaff is down 95 pounds, and much of her success is due to her work with Burn the Fat, Feed the Muscle. Stay tuned. We're going to show you how she did it and how you can do it too.
This is Burn the Fat, Feed the Muscle, Inner Circle Podcast.
All right, welcome everybody. Like I said, I'm here with Shauna Grandstaff. She is incredible. She's a powerhouse. I cannot get over this woman's success. Let's welcome her today with a cheer. She is a winner, chicken dinner, right? And you probably ate a lot of those.
I did, and I still continue to do so.
You still continue to do so. Okay, tell me your favorite kind of chicken dinner.
You know what? Actually, I think it's the double baked Parmesan chicken that's on Tom's site.
Uh-huh. That sounds
Yeah.
amazing. I haven't found that one yet.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I love that one. It's, basically the chicken breast crusted with Parmesan, and then you bake it in the oven. And then you top it off with some sauce and mozzarella.
That sounds really good. Now I know what I'm making for dinner tonight.
Yes,
Woo!
you do.
Done. Check. Okay. Well, Shauna, your story is so incredible. I just have to share your pictures and show people the success that you have had. You have worked so hard and you deserve every award that you have won. Tell us the awards you won from this challenge.
So for this current challenge, 2024 summer, I won top. So the first place for muscle and physique. And
Because
then
look at these muscles. Holy cow.
Yeah. And then I also won top team with my team.
Okay. And what was your team?
So this one was the weapons of fat destruction.
That is a great name.
Yeah.
Weapons of Fat Destruction. Perfect. Well, look at this. You were 95 pounds in this picture. 95 pounds heavier in this picture.
Yes, that was.
And what's your current weight?
So currently I'm like around 141, 142-ish.
That's amazing. And you were how much in this one?
In that one, I was probably about 236.
Okay.
Yeah.
This probably doesn't even feel, I can't even believe that you're the same person from the first picture to the last pictures.
I'm not.
Well, tell us all about your journey here. Tell us what got you started. Clearly you were unhappy in the first picture. Yeah. You didn't look necessarily unhappy. I mean, you're smiling.
No, I was always smiling on the outside, but then, I was kind of sad on the inside because, I always felt one way, but then I just didn't feel like my exterior exuded that. So, it's definitely a roller coaster of emotions. Like, you're depressed, you're happy, but you're depressed. And then, I don't know, something during the pandemic just changed. I think it was because like I started dyeing my hair and I started putting in pops of color. And then I just started feeling better about myself. And then I started putting makeup on. And even though it's the pandemic and you're not going anywhere, I started wearing makeup more. And I just started getting into this frame of mind of, you know what, I think I'm ready to change. I'm ready to do something different. So I started basically looking at different workout plans. And I just started walking in front of my TV. And I did this little challenge of, do 5 squats a day. And eventually like you start adding on squats each day. And then like by the end of the challenge, I was doing 100 squats a day. I'm like, wow, I can do that. Okay. Yeah. What's next? So then from there, like, I actually lost about 18 pounds from the end of 3 months in 2020. And then I kind of plateaued. So like I stayed around the same weight and I would dip into the Wonderland, like 199. And then I would come back out of it because, it was tepid waters, and then I would dip back into it again. So.
Oh, don't we all know that story very well?
And it's just like, I kept on flip-flopping. I'm like, what am I doing? I'm not doing, I'm eating less, but like I was never tracking my calories or anything. And I was working out like 6 days a week at the time. I was following someone else's workout plan. It was 30-minute videos, 5-6 days a week. I thought I was eating better, but I was still, drinking on the weekends and all that fun stuff. So And then, of course, with drinking, you usually start, eating more because now you're hungry afterwards. And
Yeah.
I was thinking that I was doing right. So in 21, I I don't remember how I learned about the book Burn the Fat, Feed the Muscle, but I was like, okay, I'm going to buy that book. So I bought the book. I started reading it, and I'm like, no, it can't be that simple. Really? Is it that simple? Like, watch what you eat, exercise, lift weights. Okay. So and then I didn't do anything with it. So then 2022 rolls around, and I started getting the emails because like I didn't join the inner circle at the time, but I got the newsletters. And I was like, okay, I'm going to join that challenge in the summer. 2022, I joined the first challenge, and I was on there for a few weeks. And Shirley was one of the first people to reach out to me and say, hey, how's it going? You know,
Oh,
what can we do? And Shirley is great on the board. So
yes.
I started that, challenge, but then I didn't finish it. And I just don't think I was ready. So I continued doing the weightlifting, like the primer program and everything. And I think back in 2022, I wasn't sure of myself, right?
Hmm.
So by the end of 22, I was like, you know what? I know the New Year's challenge is going to be coming up. I'm going to be ready for it this time. And that's when I joined officially the 2023 New Year's challenge. And I finished that one. And I actually won third place in the weight loss division.
Woo!
Yeah.
Good job.
And it
So,
has
so how
been
many
going
pounds did
since.
you lose in 2023 in that
In
challenge?
2023, that particular challenge, I lost like 17 pounds in
That's amazing.
12 weeks. Yeah. So I was
Yeah.
just like, oh, now we're on a roll. So, and then each phase after that, and that's what I call them now is phases. So each phase after that, I was just like, okay, we're going to do better. So then the 8 weeks in between New Year's challenge and summer challenge, I lost like another 8 pounds or whatever. Summer challenge, I lost another pound. So like I just kept on, building it up. So by the time this rolls around, now I've lost 66 pounds since the beginning of 23.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and it's fat pounds because clearly you've
Yeah.
got plenty of muscle.
I have found the muscle underneath the fat. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Well, and I want to know, you said you felt like it was time to change something. Were you experiencing any other health problems or other negative emotions in your life that sparked that need to change?
It was
Obviously, it was
all the
COVID, but
Yeah, I mean, like, so COVID really didn't, like, I know, like, for my husband, for instance, he's an extrovert. So he's definitely, you can't go out and do things. Whereas I was just like, oh, I'm in my backyard, I'm enjoying it.
you're like,
So I was
sweet,
okay
I don't
with
have to
that,
talk to people.
I'm like, I'm okay here. But I would just say there's things in your life that just make it click, right?
Hmm.
And that's the only way I can think about it. It's like you make these certain decisions or you hear certain words at a particular time and it just clicks for you like now I'm ready, you
Hmm.
know? And back in October, that's like I just started feeling better about myself because I was wearing makeup and I had like, nice little color in my hair and I was just like, okay, let's see what else I can do. What can I do? You
Hmm.
know?
Well, and I think COVID was a huge turning point for so many people. I
Yeah.
feel like I always say COVID was the best thing that happened to us because that's when we got in shape, me and my husband, and that's
See?
when I think it either went one way or the other. And
It
we
did.
always joke about how, now all the clothes are really boxy and baggy to hide everybody's fat that they gained during COVID
Oh yeah.
instead of
It was just like the little house on the prairie dresses. I'm like, I'm not wearing those right now because I got my shape back.
right? No, I don't want to wear a
No.
paper bag. I want to wear something cute because
Right?
I look good now. So, but yeah, we just have noticed it goes one way or the other. And for us, it
It did.
helped us get in shape. A lot of people sat and ate potato chips, moping,
Right.
instead of getting out and exercising. I mean, there are pros and cons. There are definitely things that
Definitely.
changed for better or worse. But I tell you what, I probably wouldn't be doing this today if it weren't for COVID because it changed the whole way that I work
I
and
would agree with that.
everything.
Yeah, I would agree with that
So,
because I feel like that COVID, like it made me see things differently.
mhm,
It put things in different perspective.
for sure,
You know.
100%. Well, Everyone's perspective of you has probably changed as well because look at you
Yes,
now, Miss Buff Chick.
yes.
Okay. Well, okay. How many pounds of muscle did you gain?
You know, um, I guess it depends on what method I use to look at it. So if I use Navy or calipers, it said I gained about 2 to 3 pounds of muscle. You
Uh-huh.
know, and when you think of it, it's, that doesn't sound like a lot, but like when you distribute it nicely, it shows up nicely.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you look at my BIA scale is saying that I lost a lot of muscle. So
Mm,
I would say don't go by those numbers alone, because like if you look at the mirror, if you look at the pictures, like you can see that I've gained muscle.
mm-hmm.
It's just that the methods are just not agreeing with each other.
That's a good point because whenever I would get on those, like the in-body scan thing at the gym,
Hmm.
it always tells me I've lost a bunch of muscle, or sometimes I'll be up and sometimes I'll be down, and I think
Fluctuate.
it doesn't it doesn't go away that fast, does it?
I would hope not. Like I
I'm
knew
like,
I would lose some of it because like I've lost a lot of weight. So like
hmm
I expected to lose some of it, but I think during this last challenge I managed to put some back on,
hmm
which was good.
That's impressive because you've been lifting very heavy. I saw you
Yeah,
had 135 pounds on
I had
your
135
squat.
pounds on my squat, and then like just the other day I managed to do a 155-pound deadlift. So that's more than my body weight now.
That's
So yeah,
amazing.
that was
Woo!
that. I was excited about that. And I'm like, who knew?
Right? Well, and your back muscles are showing all that
Yeah.
strength in there.
Yes, and my
Keep
legs,
that up.
and I'm very excited about that.
What do
And
you
that's
feel
what we're in
like?
now.
What do you think's the most rewarding body part that you've seen change? Does that make sense?
Oh
That's kind of a weird question. But what, I
no,
guess,
it's not.
what muscle development are you most proud of?
I would say I love my upper, right?
Hmm
Because like I always like the bench presses and stuff like that. But like my quads and my, just building up my leg muscles again, especially because I had knee surgery back in February of this year.
Oh, wow.
And you wouldn't know it, right? Because now I'm doing 155-pound deadlifts and I'm, box
Yeah.
squatting 135 pounds and everything. So,
Look at you
um,
go. I love it.
yeah. So like I would say like my legs, my lower is definitely somewhere that I'm very proud of as well.
Hmm
I don't know.
One day I'm going to be proud of my upper body too.
I mean, like
One day.
you could see it more on my upper, right? But then like
Uh-huh.
it's just weird how we lose weight, I guess.
Yes.
So like
And it doesn't seem to
it's
be the
showing
same
more
for
here.
everyone.
Yeah, no. And like some people will develop their lower way faster than their upper.
Hmm
But like I lift both equally,
hmm
you know.
Just depends. Well, tell me about some of your nutrition. We talked about your favorite dish right now, that chicken parmesan. That sounds
I did love
amazing.
that. Yes. I use a lot of actually back in 23, because I was an inner circle member, I started definitely testing a lot of those recipes, and I would say that Tom's recipes are tried and true.
Hmm
I've tried a lot of them. One of our favorites here is the taco pasta. I think he calls it the Mexican casserole dish, but I call it taco pasta, and that's probably done every other week. Um,
Yum.
the sweet potato brownies, I make them in batches and I put them in the freezer.
That's a
You
good
know,
idea.
yeah,
I'm gonna
lots
have
of
to try
chicken.
those.
Yes, those are my favorite. Let me see. I do like a lot of those, and like I'll have like oatmeal every morning. Like it's pretty much almost the same things that you tend to gravitate towards, just because you know that they're good and you like them. Like I did not grow up eating oatmeal. It
Hmm
was definitely the cereal kind of breakfast.
Captain
But now
Crunch
I
for you, huh?
yeah, no, not Captain Crunch, but like Count Chocula is coming back out, so I will be buying a box of that. Or it's always
Nostalgia.
the marshmallowy ones, like Lucky Charms and all that.
Yes.
Big bowl, lots of milk, and it would be
Hmm
whole milk back in the day. But like now, it would be I'll have my one bowl, and I'm pretty satisfied with that. But like every morning, it's pretty much oatmeal because that's my pre-workout. After workout is usually egg whites and an egg with a slice of toast, and then I almost have the same things. It's always chicken, just cooked up differently. Like we just made a batch last night of the balsamic marinade that's on Tom's site as well. So that will be had today with broccoli and some rice.
Yum, those sound so so good. Balsamic marinade, is it on top of the chicken you said?
Yeah, so I
Broccoli and
marinate
rice.
that for a couple of hours and then we grill it up because it's still nice out.
Hmm. Tell me your calorie count for the day. What were you on as you're losing? Are you still working to lose, or now are you just working to gain muscle?
Now I'm working to gain muscle. So I was a little nervous, but I'm excited about this phase because I've been like losing weight for 4 years now.
Yeah.
And like even though I wasn't consistently in a calorie deficit, I've been like, I would hit my plateau and then I would, drop the calories again and then hit a plateau and drop the calories. So right now I'm excited just to be at maintenance. And maintenance for me is about 1900 calories. And you
Okay.
can still build muscle there, like not as quickly, obviously, but I really don't want to run the risk of putting on more fat than I need to, right? It's more
Right.
about getting the healthy macros in, like getting protein in first, and then like carbs help you build muscle as well, and that keeps your
Mhm.
energy up. So that's why carbs are important. Um, but back when I was losing weight, I would say my deficit was about 1650. You know,
Oh, sorry.
yeah.
I thought you meant a 1600 calorie deficit, not that that was
No, God,
your
no.
your
I was
intake.
eating nothing. No.
It's like,
Yeah.
whoa.
No. 1600 average would be 1600 calories a day, which is, it's a lot. If it depends on like what you're working out, like how hard are you lifting and like how many steps are you getting in. And my average step count is like between 13 and 15,000 steps a day because like
You're
I
busy.
have two dogs, so we go for walks and everything.
Hmm.
And I have a sedentary job, so I make sure that I'm getting up and I'm walking.
Oh, good for you. That's so
Yeah,
important to remember. I know we have the million step challenge going
yeah,
on right now,
yeah.
and so I went for a hike with my family yesterday, and that was fun. And I was like, "Oh, I got 13,000 steps! Yay, I did it!" But I did not get 10,000 steps in the day before. It was Sunday, and Sunday usually
Oh, I
kind of
didn't either. Yeah, no,
rest
Saturday.
and
Yeah, Saturday I had like 5,000 steps, but then the day before I was at 16,000. So like, and then like, the next day I went for a 2 hour bike ride. Actually, I think it was a little bit longer. So like my step count was a little lower, but then I walked the dogs twice, so
Mhm.
I got it back up to 15.
But you did go on a bike ride for 2 hours, so I feel like that
I
kind of
did.
counts, right?
That should count for something. Yeah, that was like
You,
2,000 steps.
well, it's funny because my tracker will, when I go biking, my husband
Yeah,
and I like to mountain bike. And so when I do that, it counts it as steps. So it'll say
all
that
of
I
it
have,
though.
yes, and it does it. I
Mine
don't know. It
didn't.
was like 8 miles. I
I
think
was
I did
very
8 miles and it gave me a bunch of steps. I'm like, what? Because I was wearing it on my leg.
I did. All right. So I tried an experiment and I have a Fitbit. So um, I went 20 miles on the bike,
Uh-huh.
but it only accounted for 3,000 steps.
Huh.
And I'm like, really? That, like that's it? That's all I get? But like, I guess there's a ratio because like, it's counting
Yeah.
like what my heart rate's at and everything. I thought I would get more by wearing it on my ankle, but I didn't.
Oh, darn it. Well, I
Yeah,
just let my
exactly.
phone track it. My Fitness Pal just tracks it.
Yeah.
And so it was just I had it in my pocket on my leg.
I'm going to try
And
that the next time.
that's how it did it. But you're like, I'm gonna get those steps.
I'm
Well,
going to
what do
get
you
those
use
steps.
to
Yeah.
track? Do you use an Apple Watch or Fitbit
Yeah,
or
my Fitbit.
oh that's Fitbit. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So like
And
that I'll track all the time. And it'll remind me that like I have to get up and move and everything.
I have trouble with some of those because I often will be playing scales for
Yeah.
on the piano for my students, and it counts my my scales
Oh,
as
see,
steps.
me
So
me and
I
my friends
I
joke
don't
because
know.
like if I wash my hair, like if I'm wearing the watch and and I wash my hair, it'll count it as steps. Or if I'm like
Right.
mixing a batter or something like that, it just let me see. Yeah, it just is. It counts as some steps.
You're like,
But
well,
I'm like I'm moving around. I'm active.
my hands are stepping.
Right, exactly. Well, that's what I had to do during my surgery. So when I had knee surgery, I couldn't really do steps, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to relax it, so I did some chair cardio,
Uh-huh.
and because you're moving your arms around so much, I did get steps that way.
Hey.
Yeah,
There is a way around any problem you might face if you're just
exactly.
willing to look for it. Oh, that is wonderful. So with this knee surgery, that what was your emotional recovery? Because a lot of times we are trying so hard to be fit, and then we have a life event hit us, like a
Yeah,
surgery or a move
right.
or a relationship change or a school or job or something like that. And so I imagine that knee surgery probably impacted you. Kind of tell me your process
Yeah.
in working through that.
And I'll actually go back a little bit further if I may. Like, so back in 2018, I was actually diagnosed with breast cancer.
No.
And yeah, and like, and this was when, obviously I was heavier because like that before picture was 2019. So, um, and like, sometimes I think like, why didn't that just trigger this new healthy lifestyle, And it
Yeah.
didn't at the time. It just took a couple of years for it to catch up. But like, and everything's fine. I was very lucky and fortunate that they caught it early. So getting your mammograms yearly is very important because like in 2017 it wasn't there, and in 2018 it was.
Wow.
So I had a lumpectomy, and then I had radiation afterwards, and I've been cancer free since, which was it has been great, right? Thank you.
Yay.
But now I hurt my knee back in 2023, and I didn't know it. Like I tore
Mhm.
my meniscus by basically um, tying my shoe. So, and that's how
Oh.
easy it can happen. I
No.
had my legs crossed the wrong way apparently or something, and I put my leg down, and something happened. I felt it, but
Oh
I
no.
didn't discover it until the end of 23. So like this year is when I actually got it fixed, and they just cut off a little bit of it. And he also let me know that I had grade 3 arthritis in that knee. So he's like,
Whoa.
eventually, we'll look at that down the road. But I honestly and firmly believe that me being on this program, losing the weight that I did, building up the muscle, and just going through the mental, mind state of like being confident and like just working it
Yeah.
helped me get through this surgery because I knew what I needed to do, right?
Yes.
I knew that I needed to, and a lot of the exercises that they gave me afterwards in PT, as well as like, just afterwards, like, isolation exercises for your quads and whatnot, I
Mhm.
was already doing those. Like a lot of the mobility work and stuff, I was like, oh,
Mhm.
I do that already. Okay. I could, like that's what helped me get through it. But then I also had to keep in mind that like my TDEE, my exercise, my movement went down a lot because
Yeah.
it wasn't as easy to get along. Like I had to be easy getting up, walking places. I was still walking with a limp, so I couldn't get my steps in. So I had to have a conscious effort of putting my calories down because I was in the middle
Mhm.
of a challenge then too. So like we were doing the New Year's challenge, and
What?
I won. We won top team for that too. That was Team Shenanigans.
I have seen that one
with
on the
with
forums.
NAR. Yeah,
Well, that's incredible. I can't even imagine winning a challenge or at least winning a team as a team
yep,
while you're recovering from a surgery. You were so committed.
yeah.
Charity, chair cardio.
Their cardio, yes.
Oh, well, what did you have to keep your calories at? Because it's really hard to get enough movement when
I
you can't
dropped that.
really move.
Yeah, so like I had to drop that down to like probably the 1400s. I was pretty much, yeah, it was a lot lower because I had to start building it back up again. And
Mhm.
I think I started lifting again by week 8 is when I got the okay to start lifting. So it
Wow.
was like towards the end of the challenge.
Oh my goodness. But you
Yeah,
still did it. You still
but
did
I
it. And
did
I
do it.
think that
Yeah,
is so inspiring because it's so easy to make excuses. It's so easy to say, oh, I can't do it right now. And I had a
yeah,
kind of a wake up moment last night. We're in the middle of building a house and moving and all these things.
yeah. That's a lot.
And, and, challenges with schools and just a lot of motion in life right
Yeah,
now. And for a while I've been saying to myself, it's okay if I don't, you know, keep up or do as well as I have been. And I just thought last night, this morning, I thought actually it's more important than ever to
hmm,
stay eating the right foods and getting my workouts in. Maybe I can't work out for 2.5 hours like I'd like to, or, you know,
I
maybe
don't like
one
to work
hour
at
we'll have to do, maybe
2 hours.
45 minutes we'll have to do today. But I have to make sure that I take care of myself because that is what sustains
Mhm.
you during these challenges. You can't just give up during the challenge. You have to keep up. I mean, and I don't mean the burn the fat challenge, I mean life challenges. If you're
Well,
not keeping
yeah,
your health up, you're setting yourself up for a lot more work than it would be if you just kept the good habits going.
that has been my thing for this whole time. Um, like a lot of people will move towards keto and things of that
Mm,
nature, like going low carb, and I'm like, but that's not sustainable to me
no.
because I'm gonna have pizza, and I like my bread, and eventually, like I like pasta and all that fun stuff, and I have not removed any of those from my diet. I just account for them. You
Yes.
know, do I want 2 or 3 slices of pizza? Sure, everybody does, but I have one because I know at two I'm gonna feel sick. you know it's just you have to make these changes, and you have to make them make them gradual, make them however fits into your lifestyle. But like I know for me, like going low carb, that's initially what started and kicked me off, but I couldn't sustain it. And you could see that in my stats. Like I just plateaued because I introduced carbs again, and I started eating more carbs because I wasn't getting enough. Or
Hmm.
like even protein, like I tell everybody, get your protein in first, make sure you have enough protein, and then your carbs and fats can fall wherever they may.
Right. Right. Well, and that's the kicker, right? But
Yeah,
the protein is so good. Why would you not want to get your protein in?
it is, but like we live in a highly palatable carb infected world. Every like
Yes.
your grab to and go to snacks are like potato chips and things like that, and you can have potato chips, but weigh out that serving.
Right. Well, and that's kind of where I think a lot of people, I know this is where I fudge it, is, oh, I only had a few. I only had like three. Or I
Yeah,
only had, or just not planning for them in general.
right.
There's these
Or
really
account
good,
for them afterwards, and then you're like, oh, I had that much. All right.
and it's almost too embarrassing to account for. So
Yeah,
it's easier to just not say like, well, I'm just going to move on and start from here. But that's where you get in trouble. That's when it
yeah,
starts adding up. And I
quickly.
have definitely felt the effects of that kind of thinking and those kinds of things, like, darn it,
I mean,
it's got to
it's
get back, got
it's
to
a
do it
lot
again.
of different things. Like I wasn't tracking food for like a good portion. Like I think I was very resistant to
Hmm.
tracking my food. I'm like, that's not the way I want to live. And now, like I look at it as playing a game of like, now I have to track my food. And like I'm in the
Hmm.
middle of like lunch or dinner or something like that, and they're like, oh, here comes the phone again, and I'm tracking my food. Otherwise, I'm gonna forget.
It's true. Do you put it in at the beginning of the day, or do you do it each meal?
Depends. So I find during challenges, I did do it the night before because
Hmm.
then I knew exactly what I had to pack for work.
Hmm.
So that made it a lot easier because then I knew it was 4 ounces of chicken or like 3 ounces of this or that or whatever. Now, if like I'll track it on the go because
Which app do you use?
right now I'm using Macro Factor.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, so that's a paid for app, and basically what it'll do is based on it doesn't look at your activity levels on your Fitbit or anything like that. So it's basing it off of the weight that you put in
Hmm.
and the calories that you're tracking, and it'll adjust it weekly on
Oh,
what you need to do.
so you put in your weight every week then, every day? How often do you track
I
that?
so I do weigh daily, but I put in the weight into the app like every 3 days,
Hmm.
just so it has something. It prefers daily, but being that our weight fluctuates daily, it kept on bringing down my TDEE. So
Oh.
I've been playing around with that.
Hmm.
I've
Well,
been
and that's
cheating
the
the
point.
system a little bit. So like that's why it has my TDEE at like 1900 calories.
Hmm.
So that's why I put it in every few days.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Well, and that's the thing, right? You got to get into a feedback loop and
exactly.
adjust
Yeah,
accordingly.
and
If
adjust
you just,
accordingly.
yeah,
And
if
like
you
that
left it.
and that's why like it took me a while. Like I was weighing daily and then I stopped because like the scale was getting to my head. I mean, I
Hmm.
legitimately almost threw it out the window one day. And I
We have
didn't
those days.
because
It's
I would have
okay.
broke my window. So
Choices and consequences.
yeah, exactly. Let's not break the screen. We're just gonna take a break from weighing ourselves,
Hmm.
right? And then after that, like that was my click moment. Like, okay, it's just a number. It doesn't
Hmm.
determine what kind of day I'm gonna have or anything like that. I just use it as a tool. So, and now I know, like when the scale goes up, it depends on what kind of food I had the day before, or like what kind of carbs I had or something like that. Like I can totally attribute what I'm seeing now, like by what I'm eating. Does it deter me from eating those things? No, not at all. But like now I know, okay, I know in a couple of days I'm going to see it go up and then I'm going to see the rapid drop.
Hmm. Well, it's so important to remember. I love what you said a little while ago about I want to eat 2 or 3 pieces of pizza, but I have one because I know I'll feel sick.
Yeah.
And, there is something, excuse me, there's something to that because oftentimes we get in this mode of just focusing on what it tastes like and
Yeah,
ignoring the fact that this has real consequences. Oh, I know I'm going to feel sick
true.
tomorrow, but I don't care. Or you start eating the cookies and you just eat another one and another one
A
because
whole
it
sleeve
just
at a
tastes
time or
good.
something. Right, exactly. Yeah, like it's like that constant, gratification of it tastes good. I want to just keep on eating it. But like, and I've tried your whole eating changes, right? When you start losing weight too, because like you get into this calorie deficit and your body starts needing less calories to do things as well. So like
Hmm.
I don't whereas before I was able to maintain at 2-3,000 calories or like gain at that. Now me eating 1,800 calories is like, I feel like a buffet, like, oh, I can eat so much food now.
That sounds amazing. I would love to have an 1,800 calorie budget. The problem is I keep eating that many, but I don't have the budget for it.
No. Oh my gosh. Like, and I know I've watched your podcast before. So like, you're tiny,
I'm a tiny
right?
person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you're like, I don't even need that many calories, right? You're
No.
like 1,400. That's
Yeah,
it.
if I'm lucky. If I'm
If you're like,
lucky, I'll get that many.
now you got
No,
to build the muscle, right?
I'm trying, man. It's coming. See, I have a little
Yeah.
bit right
I can
there.
see that. That's awesome. See, we can both flex and stuff.
Okay, well, mine doesn't do what yours
Yeah.
does, but it's okay. I'm my legs are pretty buff, so I'll
That's
take that.
awesome.
That's where my muscle goes. My
That's your
dad
bigger
gave me
muscles,
great
though.
legs. Well,
That's where your biggest muscles are, right? Your glutes
this is
and
true.
your quads and your hams. That's where you want to build the muscle.
This is true. That's why I'm always like, I love leg day. People, why
Yes,
don't we love leg day? It's
right.
great. And it's interesting because my sisters, some people in my family have broader shoulders. My dad has really broad shoulders. And
Hmm.
so some of my sisters got that, but I got my mom's narrow shoulders, my dad's narrow hips. Okay. But I took my little sister to the gym one day and she's just like, boom, like she can just do it because she has these wider set shoulders. And I'm
Right,
like,
right.
I have been working for so long and I can't do a third of that. But you don't even work out. Like, I mean, she
And
works
she
out,
doesn't
but
even try, right? Yeah.
lifting is new to her and
I think that's
she just
that, that's been my thing too,
pushes
because
it
like
out.
I was never an athletic person, right?
Hmm.
Like I have always been in some stage of being overweight and
Mm.
never thinking that I can do these things, right? I even donated to a gym for years, and when I say donated, I would go in January and stop going, and then maybe go in June, and I would pay monthly.
You're helping the
Even
fitness of so many people that way.
yeah, I mean, I'm helping everybody, right? But
Yeah.
then like I even hired personal trainers at different points. And like I remember this one, she would just like get right in my face and like which turned me off because I was just like,
Like,
get out of my
love it.
face. This I'm not strong. I'm not like these people in the gym, I'm overweight and I don't even know what to do, right? But
Oh,
she would be like, you're stronger than you think. She's just like, I could see it in your eyes, and like those kind of moments come back to me now, and it's like, yeah, I am.
yeah.
Like I never realized it, and like I love lifting now, but like I have a home gym, so I don't go to the
Mhm.
gym. I have my barbells and my dumbbells downstairs in the basement, and that's where I go to work out.
That's probably your happy place now, yeah?
That is my happy place. I need to put some happy place signs up there or something.
This is my happy place.
This is where, legends are made or something, I don't
Yes. Yes. I love it. Let's see, what else was I going to ask you? Okay, so if you're not going to a gym, you're working out
know.
by yourself, that is kind of isolating though, but you said you're an
It is.
introvert.
I
So
am.
tell me where you get your social support.
The inner circle has been great. So that's my teammates. Um, during the NYC 23, that's where I met Runar. That's where I met Rochelle.
Hmm.
Me and Rochelle have been constantly in contact since then. We're belt buddies, and that's my fire girl. Um, and then during summer of 23, I met Mark, so he was also on my team.
Okay.
I also started talking to Rini and Ursula, who were also on my team, and that's how I started forming these teams. Um, so in 23, I wasn't on a team, but I was gathering my eagles and owls, and that's what I said in my 24 challenge, that I gathered my eagles and owls, and we helped lift each other up, right? And of course, at home, I have my friends and family's support always. They always comment like, "You're such an inspiration. How do you do it? Tell me what I need to do. You can be my coach now." So it's been awesome. Like, so where a lot of people go into the gym to find those like-minded people, that's what I found on the inner circle, because we all live together. I'll make videos so that Mark can help coach me on how to lift better and stuff. And like, it's also for my benefit, so I can see what am I doing right or wrong, because like I don't have that trainer right there and helping me along with it.
Well, I think it's fascinating how many of you are the people who are winning. There's a
Yeah.
definite correlation there
Yeah.
between having that social support, utilizing the inner circle tools, utilizing this friendship that is worldwide,
Right.
and coming together. And you, Runar, Mark, Shirley, all these
Yeah.
people that we've
Roxy.
already
Yeah.
interviewed. Roxy, yes,
Yep.
you guys are the ones that are winning. So I think if you're watching this and you're afraid of joining a team, or you're not utilizing the inner circle and Facebook tools, maybe you can take a page out of Shauna's book and follow their great example, and just take advantage of this support that's available to you, because there's nothing worse than feeling isolated. It's different than being alone by choice and enjoying your own company versus feeling isolated and you against the world. I think
Right.
there's people get into that mindset a lot, like I have to overcome the world by myself, and it's just not that way.
No, it's not that way. And you just have to find that inner confidence in yourself. Like, a lot of times, like, the first element that we talk about is mindset, right? And you have to actually be ready. And I think a lot of that changed for me in 23, because, like, a lot of times people will say, okay, I could do this for 12 weeks. And then, like, that was one of my click moments. It's like, wait a minute, it's not just for 12 weeks. I don't go back to what I was doing before, I continue on. And that's why it's always been important for me to be sustainable, right, in this,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to be consistent. And those consistency awards mean a lot too, right? Because I've been doing the work. I know, like, all my teammates have been doing the work, and that's why they're earning their consistency awards too, because they're putting in the work and it's showing.
Oh, 100%. I think that consistency, and I love what you said about you don't just go back to the way you were. It's
I
not a
can't go
one
back to
time
the work.
thing.
And that's one of my mantras too, is like, I'm not doing this all over again.
I have done
No,
it.
I've done it. And I've gained and lost, like everybody else here, right? I've gained and lost weight all throughout my adult life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even back when I was younger and everything. And like when you're a teenager, you're thinking you're so heavy, and then I look back at those pictures and I'm like, no, I wasn't. Like, I was probably maybe a little heavier than I am now, but I thought I was heavier because, like, we grew up in that age of, you had to be stick thin. It was the
Mm-hmm.
80s. So
And
now
muscle wasn't a thing for girls
muscle
then.
was no, it was all about aerobics, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I remember my mom going on Weight Watchers, And then like, I would do Weight Watchers with her, and like you ate such little food back then. It was just like you could only have eggs like 3 times a week. It was like something weird like that. Like, and like you can only have like 3 ounces of chicken and like very minimal, whereas now
Yeah.
like Weight Watchers is so different, right?
Yeah.
Um
Well, I mean, I
you
guess
could
it works, right? If you cut your
it,
calories, you're gonna lose
if
weight.
you cut your calories, you lose weight. Go figure.
That's weird.
Right.
Not eating more than you need
Right,
leads to
exactly.
losing weight. That's so
Yeah,
strange.
and that's all I do now. Is like, you watch what you eat, and I make sure it's more sustainable foods that will keep me full longer. Do I still have chocolate? Absolutely. Do I still have my cookies? Yeah, occasionally. Donuts? Yeah, but like I don't have them where there used to be a norm, like maybe weekly. I don't have them that often anymore. You know,
How often do you allow yourself a treat or treat meal
I
or
like I only like I look at it as not even cheat meals or treat meals, like, or refeeds anymore. It's something that I add back into, my diet. So like, even what was it, the other day we went out for ice cream, and it was regular full fat ice cream. It wasn't the Ninja Creamy with the protein and all that. It was just regular ice cream. um but I don't have that. Like, I don't keep ice cream in the house, or like if I do, it's for my husband and daughter, and I tend not to eat it.
Mhm. What's your what would you say is your weak spot? Because I mean, for me, if there's ice cream in the house, I'm going to eat it. So I
It
need to
used to be
know.
like I used to sit in front of the TV and watch The Biggest Loser and eat a pint of Ben and Jerry's, wishing I could do what they did. So,
Now you're
ice
showing
cream,
them how it's done.
yes, right. But now, like if I have ice cream in the house, like I'll actually portion it out. Whereas I used to get that big bowl,
Hmm.
but now I weigh out like 2/3 of a cup or whatever it is. Like it's just your mind changes
Hmm.
throughout this whole process, and you got to allow for it too, right? You can't think of, oh, like, think of, that big bowl of ice cream, like, oh, I can't have that. I never said I can't. I just choose not to, or I choose to have a portion of it.
Hmm.
And like, when you go to ice cream shops, for instance, you're not getting 2/3 of a cup. It's more like a cup for like that one scoop.
Yeah.
So I account for that.
You just measure it out. Well, it's so
Mhm.
funny. I don't know if you're familiar with Brian Regan. He's a
uh
comedian. And this is from years and years ago, but he said he had a little sketch that he would do about working in the ice cream factory. And he
Okay.
said, he's like, yeah, I was working and um, I looked at the label and it said half a cup. And I said, I thought it was half a gallon. I didn't know that that was a serving. He says, well, I just put it on that way. That's how they went out. I didn't know.
Right?
Like
It's
no
true.
sense of, oh,
I
it's
remember, like, I would
that's
get
a
like a
serving.
half a gallon of ice cream, and it's gone in 3 days. That was all me, right?
Yeah.
I can eat like that, but like now, I choose not to, right? Because I
Mhm.
can't eat like that anymore, and I don't want to, because like I love where I'm at right now, you know.
Well, it's so important to remember I can't eat like that if I want this result. You sure can eat like that, but it's not going to
Yeah,
get you where you want to be.
no,
And so
and
I
that's why
like that you choose.
exactly. So like that's why, like, at the end of 22, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stop drinking, and I haven't had a drink. I haven't had alcohol since January 1st of 23.
Wow.
So like that, and
Congratulations.
thank you. I mean, and
That's,
it's not like, I was an alcoholic or anything, but like,
I'm
I would
just
have my
clapping for
drinks on
you.
my weekends, like, and like I would be a binge drinker on the weekend. Thank you.
Because that's hard
um,
to do. I know that that's
it
a
is.
big thing for people to give up, especially if you have been used to drinking.
It's a huge thing, and like, especially like in your social context, like when you're an introvert, and like a lot of people like, Shauna, you're not an introvert. And I'm like, yeah, like I like to be by myself sometimes, but then, I need my battery recharged by myself.
Hmm.
But I also like to talk to people now, and I actually had to relearn talking to everybody, not drinking.
Yeah.
Being a social person without drinking. So it's definitely, but it also, alcohol no longer served its purpose, because I'm a different person now. So
Hmm.
that's why I choose not to. That's why I choose to continue not drinking.
That's amazing. When you, so do you still socialize with people
Hmm.
where they have alcohol, but do you just drink something different? Do you drink sparkling
I drink
water?
yeah, sparkling waters usually because like, I was drinking usually my drink of choice was rum. So like it's not like they have non-alcoholic rum or anything like that.
That's
So my,
yeah.
my mixer was usually like Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi. So I'll just have like a regular, Diet Pepsi or whatever. Or I'll have sparkling water, you know.
Hmm.
The NA beers, like I never was a beer drinker, so I don't drink the NA beers or anything.
Well, and that's wonderful because then you're focusing on the people. It's not about
Right.
the food or the alcohol. It's about the people because you're
It's
there
about the
to talk
people.
to them.
Or I have those snacks. Like I'll eat those snacks, the chips and the dip at the parties and stuff, because I know I'm
Yeah.
not going to have them at home.
Yeah. Like I better eat them now.
Right? Better to eat them now.
In moderation,
In
in
moderate,
portions,
exactly.
right?
Because then, like a lot of my friends will say, oh, what do I need to do to, get your results? And I'm like, just eat what you love, but then just have a little less of it, right?
Yeah. Portion control. It's
Yeah.
funny, a friend of ours years ago, he was pretty heavy and then he slimmed down and we said, "What did you do?" And he says, "Portion control." Was his response. Portion control, because he
Portion
had gone
control.
from eating large amounts to just watching
Yeah.
what he ate. I don't think he counted or tracked, but it works.
I
It's
mean,
not
that's awesome. Like,
magic.
I
It's
think
just
eventually maybe
math.
I'll get to that point of, maybe I don't have to track anymore, but like I'm on the kick now that I'm playing my Tetris game is how I look at it. So I'm
Yes.
trying to hit those numbers and I'm especially like now because I'm in that intentional gaining muscle phase.
Hmm.
So like for these next 4 months until the New Year's 25 challenge, I'm trying to build a little bit more muscle.
Hmm.
So we'll see how maintenance looks right now.
Yeah. Well, and you kind of, so what's your surplus target for the gaining muscle now?
Oh gosh, whatever I can without gaining a lot of fat.
I mean, are you aiming for like a 10%, 20% surplus or?
Oh gosh, I don't even know if I can gain that much in 4 months. Like usually, if people are doing a serious gaining phase, they'll do like 6 months to a year. Um, so I guess it's a wait and see because like this is the first time I've actually ever gone into this kind of phase.
Hmm.
Um, and I know like Tom's put out a couple things about his lean gaining phase and everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm gonna gradually increase my calories yet or anything. Um,
Hmm.
I guess we'll see how it looks at the end of this month.
So is your goal to kind of hit maintenance calories while lifting and see if that
Hmm.
gives you
Yep,
enough results and then maybe increase by 5% or
exactly.
10%
Yeah,
kind of
or like 1%, 2%. Keep
like
it small.
4 extra calories, they're gonna
Little
do it.
baby steps.
Oh, well, Shauna, what advice would you give as we wrap up here? What advice would you give to all those who are maybe afraid to start or who maybe need a little boost along the way? What would you tell people?
um, I always end my challenge essays with "Be strong" because you never know who you're inspiring. Um, where your starting point is someone else's starting point, and like they might look to you because they see where your end results are, right? Um, and I also say like change your "I can't" to "watch me," like that you can do
Mm,
these things, and don't quit on yourself. Because that's I always say your why has to be selfish because it has to be about you, right? Everybody else is going to benefit from it. Your kids will benefit from it, your husband, whatever have you. But it's you who are going to benefit the most of it. Like, I think before you asked me about like my health numbers and stuff, and I got off on the tangent, but my cholesterol was high, of course, and it's plummeted down. Like my everything else done great. Like my good cholesterol's up, my bad cholesterol's down. And I know as we head into menopause and stuff, that's where doctors start to really worry about your cholesterol because you stop producing some of the good stuff and the bad stuff can start outweighing it. So
yeah.
where I'm at right now with my dad, my doctor's like, I'm not complaining because you know we're going to get into that stage where you have to start watching it. But I would say you're going to have your tough days and you got to move through them. It's one meal at a time. It's one workout at a time.
I love it. Baby steps. Well, thank you so much, Shauna. You're seriously an inspiration to all of us. Your progress is incredible, and I know we're going to see some more great things from you.
Thank you.
And once again, ladies and gentlemen, this amazing woman, Shauna Grandstaff, she is killing it, and she's not stopping.
Not
Take
stopping.
courage from her.
Come and
If you're
watch it.
right, if you're not familiar with Burn the Fat, Feed the Muscle yet, we'll post a link down below. Come read the book, join the inner circle, find us on Facebook. We would love to have you be part of the community and help you get healthy. So thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye.